and welcome to the Indie Insights and Innovation session. And today we have our wonderful and new partners, and we're very excited to welcome for the first time to VISTAR. And these guys are going to walk us through work smarter and not harder. And as I told them, everyone enjoys working smarter and not harder. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Winston, who's going to introduce the team and start the presentation off. Winston, over to you.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you for that lovely introduction as well, mate. It is an honour and a privilege to have joined the IMAA in 2025 and fantastic to kick things off with our first webinar. There's a lot to work through. There's a solid agenda that we'd like to walk you guys through today. Please, if there are any questions, feel free to just jump in at any time or hit the chat functionality, if you will, and we'll be sure to address them now, or we can always connect afterwards for another meeting if that's a benefit to you guys. But there's a big agenda to walk through here. I've got other people here with me in the room that look after the IMAA business. If you just jump over to the next slide, Tommy, and go again. We have obviously myself, one of the group sales managers across all of the independents here at VISTAR Media, Tom Newton, who is our Senior Account Director on a lot of the indies as well, Harry Hunt, an Account Sales Executive, and also Al Waters, our Director of Solutions, who will be talking very much to the AdStruck part of our business that we've just recently launched within Australia, but I won't steal any thunder on that. But beyond the four people within this room presenting to you today, there is a much greater team of support for the indies across demand, client success, marketing, audience insights and analytics, and our supply team. So there's many people at the VISTAR business that are here to support the growth of the independents with their lead into programmatic out of home. VISTAR Media has been on this journey. We like to say that we were the leader at the start and still today, and we've got a lot in the pipeline to progress our business further forward in the transformation of out of home and how our agency partners and clients can plan, activate, and measure their out-of-home campaigns. We had some pioneerist founders that started this business about 13 years ago in the US. They were part of the beginnings of what DV360 is now at Google, and then recognized the gap that was in the out-of-home industry and what programmatic technology would be able to do to help power the growth of that medium. We obviously know there's significant challenges with out of home, when there have been in the past with some of the traditional ways of trading, and we wanted to lean into that and help improve the workflow and the delivery of standards off the back of that. So when we look at the out-of-home landscape as a whole, you know, it's extremely boisterous at the moment. I think there's a lot of fantastic PR and coverage in market at the moment. There's some really big numbers there in the projected spend in digital out-of-home in 2025, which is really exciting. It's not only just the VISTAR Medias of the world that are talking up a big game, but we're also seeing the media owners do so now as well and actually build out specific programmatic teams in their companies themselves and doing an excellent job at that. But also the OMA is also quite bullish on the forecast of where we believe out of home can get to this year. Last year we were at 7% of all out of home was programmatically enabled. The OMA has put in some positive forecasts of that being at 15% plus this year. And the lately person that just recently departed at JCD, Steve O'Connor, was talking that it'll be around 25% of all out of home will be programmatically enabled within the next 2 years. So you can see that strong growth in that space. We understand there have been historical agency challenges when it comes to out of home, be that from surfacing the inventory that you need, manual communications and negotiations and RFP processes, sending out multiple emails to multiple different partners and having to collate that information, which then leads into what could be inefficient planning and sharing and collaboration, not only with your teams internally, but surfacing that information back to your clients to get their tick of approval. So we've thought about this, and obviously all the things that we're trying to do now is really to help empower better processes and operational efficiencies within the out-of-home space. When we look at out-of-home, and I think we all know this and we're all probably well versed in this, is that there's definitely two sides to the out-of-home coin at the moment. There is the traditional side, what we've been historically doing since the beginning, and obviously programmatic digital out-of-home within that. But we like to refer to these 2 points as the art from a traditional standpoint and the science. And we definitely believe when you blend the two of those together, you will get the strongest results for your campaigns and help grow out your effective 1+ reach in the best possible way. Traditional is fantastic when you know you want that landmark billboard that you have to have a specific share of voice on and guaranteed spend. But when you overlay the smarts of programmatic, where it's audience targeting, POI targeting, or looping it all together with the measurement solution and having that flexibility and agility within that campaign optimization process, you're able to drive out a more effective ROI. This little bar down the bottom, which we'll build, and Tommy, if you just build it all the way through, is just an indication of the expenditure in digital out-of-home across those core markets. Obviously, it's fantastic to see that the media owners within Australia have really lent into converting a lot of their static sites into digital sites, and seeing 76% spend in all out-of-home being on digital screens now is tremendous. And I think that's a real strong point for us to expedite the growth in programmatic out-of-home off the back of that. When I think USA, I obviously think Times Square, I think greater metro areas within the US. And yes, you would assume those to be highly digital screen enabled. But there is a lot of Midwest America that, believe it or not, is still a static poster. So obviously that's why they're down at 33% still. And what we want to talk to you about today is a little bit of the transformation that we're going on. Vista Media has been around in APAC for the last 6 years. We do work with a lot of the agencies within the IMAA business at the moment, and we're obviously looking to expand that through our association with the group. So many of you might be versed in what Vista Media can offer, but we'll also tell you a little bit more around our benefits and different ways of working with us. But we're really pleased to announce that we've just launched AdStruck within the local market as well. And we're also seeking out beta partners for this. And I won't take too much thunder away from this, but this is our non-programmatic out-of-home platform, which Al Waters will take us through in a little bit more detail in a moment. But this allows us to look at total out-of-home now with Vista Media and AdStruck. So we would like to encourage all of our partners to think about how they can start their out-of-home journey with Vista Media and AdStruck to better inform your plans and campaign activations off the back of that. Pass over to Al, who will take you through a bit on AdStruck. Thank you.
Thank you, Winston, and hello, everyone. So as Winston mentioned, the AdStruck product is something that Vista Media actually acquired in April last year. And really, we had nailed the programmatic side of things, but it was really how do we have an input and influence on the traditional side of planning outdoor? And this was really the knowledge, knowing, as Winston mentioned at the start, that planning outdoor campaigns, especially from a traditional perspective, can take a long process and a long amount of time. There's a lot of different people you have to reach out to. So how can we automate that process? How can we empower you as advertisers and agencies to automate that entire workflow, but do it in an extremely intelligent manner and plan using data sets and points of interest and things like that? So really where AdStruck and where I think it excels in is these three areas. So planning is very similar to the Vista DSP in terms of very intuitive map. You can see all the site cards and all the information that's being supplied by all of the outdoor media owners in Australia and New Zealand, and all subsequent information following that. You can visualize all of the locations. You can overlay data sets. You can search in the points of interest tab, specific points of interest that you want to do a radius around, for example, and see all of the outdoor panels that fall into those radius locations. And then export those and into a very, very simple brief and response that you send out to all your media owners who are based in platform. And that really then leads into the number two number. is once you've sent out those briefs to all of the media owners that you want to be part of this particular brief, all of the communication is done within the Adstruct platform. They can respond to briefs through the platform through their end. They can submit different proposals, different screens. They can come back with pricing and negotiated rates. They can come back with availabilities, but that's all done within platform. There's also a messaging feature within platform as well. So once the proposals have been sent back through the platform, you as agency folk can go, actually, no, I don't really love that screen, or, you know, we actually got this from a cheaper rate last time, and you can message your media owner rep through the platform and have that negotiation. So it's really centralizing everything. It's really automating that entire process and making sure that everything stays within the Adstruct platform. And also really what that does is it controls and centralizes the data that's coming back in. Because it's in the same platform, the data is consistent, so that when you get all of the responses back, you can put it straight into a template, a media plan template of your choice, and it pre-populates those templates in the data that's being responded to by your media owner reps. So it's all trying to automate the whole process. Go back on.
Oh, sorry.
I'm speaking too much, sorry. The great thing about the platform as well is it's API enabled, so the connectivity of it is something that's really important and a really big focus for us moving forward. How do we connect into your internal tools? How do we make it talk to your internal data providers, for example? Being able to automate that flow. Also from a media owner's perspective, how can we allow the connection into their CMS systems, for example, or their locations in which all of their panels are situated, so that the data sets are constantly being updated and the locations are constantly being updated so that they're fresh as possible. This also leads into another big one. We've spoken to the OMA about this. They've seen the platform. They're very excited about the platform. And when Move 2.0 comes out, it is something that we are going to look into and connect into the platform as soon as possible. So in terms of the comprehensive inventory, like I mentioned, it's a very, very easy map, intuitive map. You can overlay data sets, as you can see through this screenshot. It can visualize on the map and then start to show you which of the locations over-index or under-index in the specific audiences that you're trying to go after. You can also upload your own data sets as well into platform, or your own client data sets into platform, so that you can visualize those as well. But like I mentioned, we're currently onboarding all of the Australian media owners. They're all very lean in. Some are just further along in their journey on this, but we aim to have every single top tier, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 in platform by the end of April, which is when we were planning to launch this product as well. So if it's of interest, once we launch, please reach out to the team and we'll more than happily get you on board and get you trained up and using the platform. So this is a nice screenshot of what it means. So you've sent out your briefs. This is all of the different briefs that you've sent out to different media owners. You can start to track where through the process your media owners are in responding to that proposal. So as you can see by the 3 green ticks, that means that they've seen the proposal, they've approved it, or they've denied it, and then it'll come up red, of course. And then they've responded to it, and then you can actually see the proposal on the right-hand side. So it's really making sure and giving you full visibility into where and how far along your media owners are throughout this RFP process and media plan process. And then, like I mentioned, when we onboard you, if you're keen for the platform, we actually upload and save your media plan templates attached to your user login. So your media plan templates will be saved in there. All of the data sets, as I mentioned, will come back. They're all exactly the same. They can pre-populate your media plans. You can download your media plans, all of that information from all of the different media owners. You don't have to cut and copy from different Excels that people have sent you, or go into PowerPoint and cut and copy all of that. It's all standardized, it's all there, and then you can download it and send that straight off to your client. The great thing as well is the tool also has a function where you can actually send them the proposal to your clients. You can make it so that they can only see certain things. It's completely up to you, but it's a nice interactive way for you to send media plans to your clients. And so that's in from an Adstruct perspective, and really where it ties into the VISTAR ecosystem is really, and what Tom will show you soon, is the demand side platform. So that's the real programmatic digital screens, find those in real time using data sets. And then abstract's really more of the traditional planning, but of course you can plan digital as well through that. There will be a world in which those two live, probably at the end of the year, so that you can plan all of your outdoor campaigns, both traditional and traditional and digital, and then push all of your digital into the VISTAR platform in a very automated fashion. But then there's also the supply side of our business, and this is really where the VISTAR team looks after the media owner side and making sure that the inventory coming into the VISTAR DSP is as up to date as possible and all of the information as possible. So that's really, really important. There's a lot of really great updates coming from the supply side. But then there's also the new other side of the business around ad serving and Cortex, which is our CMS systems and ad serving systems. A lot of the major advertisers, a lot of the major media owners in Australia are actually getting us involved in a lot of their pitches for CMS technology and software, because they can see the benefits of having that complete start to finish from a demand side platform, supply, ad serving, and CMS. So it's a really important side of our business and something that a lot of the major media owners in Australia are really getting involved into. I will pass off to Harry now. Thank you for your time. Please reach out if you have any further questions specifically around AdStruct.
Awesome. Thanks, Al. So if we just move on to the next slide, as both Woody and Al alluded to, we do think that there's this world where both programmatic and traditional out-of-home can work together to drive the best possible outcomes for brands. You can think about it as both like a reach extension play or a more tactical approach where you're trying to achieve specific outcomes for brands. We think a really good way to understand why brands are buying programmatic out-of-home is by looking at the results from the survey that the IMAA conducted last year as part of the 2024 Digital Out-of-Home Summit. They wanted to speak with agencies to understand what were those key reasons for buying programmatic out-of-home, and landed on these 4 kind of key reasons. The first being data and targeting. It's just the ability to add a level of sophistication to your out-of-home buy and bringing data points into that buying process, whether it be audience targeting, point of interest, weather, all those kinds of things. The next one being flexible buying options. So yeah, that's speaking to both open exchange buys and PMP. So whether you want those preferred inventory options that are given to you by specific media owners, or just seeing what's out there that's made available by the open exchange. I think this also refers to the ability to do things like flexible time targeting. So being able to, for example, just target during those key commuter hours or weekends or working days, depending on where your audience movement patterns are. So yeah, getting really efficient in that space. Contextual relevance, that refers to both your audience targeting, which we'll touch on a little bit later on, but also the ability to appear on screens within spaces that are relevant to your brand, whether that be residential, office buildings, gyms, things like that. And then finally, operational efficiency. So it's both the challenge that we're trying to solve from an AdStruct point of view and the programmatic out of view that we're talking about here. And that's just really streamlining the process of buying, planning and activating your out-of-home campaigns. Cool, next slide. So when we talk about audience targeting, we like to give a bit of a definition here because it is different to your kind of traditional digital channels, which are a one-to-one device. Out-of-home is a one-to-many environment, so it's a slightly different process. The example that I like to give here is, say you're trying to go after a fitness lifestyle audience. What we can do is we can identify the device IDs that are in a gym 2 to 3 days a week, and we can bunch them all up and then analyze their movement patterns over a given period of time. It could be 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it might be. And then we're looking for the screens that index most highly against that audience at the time of day they're most likely to see it. And then statistically, we're using that information to predict where that audience is going to be. So rather than just meeting them at a specific location like a gym, we're moving with them throughout the day. And beyond audience targeting, we've got 5 other key pillars that we do see most of our clients using. The first one being point of interest targeting. So whether that's setting up a radius around a single store or a set of stores or dealerships, whatever it might be, and capturing 100% of the digital screens within that radius to try and drive an outcome, whether it be drive people into store or a specific location. Next one's geo-targeting. So we are a global DSP. You can run across 36 different countries from Australia, all the way down to the specific postcode. Inventory targeting is about selecting the correct media owners and screens, which we'll touch on more on the next slides. Weather triggers, what it says on the tin, but a really powerful tool from an out-of-home point of view. So the ability to only serve ads when it's hot, cold, raining, sunning, and then we've got product triggers in there as well. For example, to only serve ads when cold and flu products are showing a peak in sales. And then finally, day and time targeting. This one massively underrated, mainly because from a traditional out-of-home sense, it hasn't been available up until now. So the ability to kind of turn off overnight and not kind of waste those impressions is really increasing the efficiency of your buy. As I touched on, coverage, our SSP side or our coverage is a really important thing, a really strong kind of area in our inventory. But we have access to over 23,000 screens locally. That's across 29 media owners, and 93% of those screens are now available programmatically. And then if we look more specifically at the venue types we have access to, there are 26 venue types in Australia so far. We're constantly onboarding new ones. But this is just proof that you can go beyond kind of just your traditional out-of-home spaces, so your billboards, bus shelters, and urban panels, and pop up in those super contextually relevant spaces. And if you bring all this together, we've got a really refined product which is seeing massive adoption globally, to the point where over 7,000 people are seeing an ad from Vista's DSP every second.
Thanks, mate.
Punchy.
Very punchy. And then jumping into measurement as well. So we have a suite of measurement tools available through our wonderful measurement partners. As you can see here, LifeSight, Analytics, Luna, and Pure Profile has recently been onboarded as well. By working with these companies, they obviously provide a number of different measurement tools which can be utilized across your campaigns as well. So you have the ability to pick and choose your studies as well as your partner as well. Looking at brand studies, foot traffic, online conversion, and footfall as well. Obviously, this allows you to measure across all media owners with a single source of truth and prove out campaign effectiveness well beyond the industry standard measurement as well, which is super exciting. Buying traditionally, you might, brief out 4 or 5 different media owners. You might end up, activating with 1 or 2. And if you run measurement studies across those 2 different media owners, it's very hard to kind of pull that together. Now with the power of programmatic out of home and being able to buy across all in one place, you can measure across multiple media owners, multiple venue types, across all of your campaigns as well. One of my favorite ones is certainly, online retargeting. So being able to capture those device IDs that were exposed to your digital out-of-home advertising and then retarget them online. So through working with our GPS data partners, they're able to follow a large amount of mobile device IDs around Australia. And because we know the exact timestamp of when your ad played and the exact lat longs of the screen that your ad played on, we're able to kind of go back in time, draw a radius around that screen. That radius will differ depending on the venue type, obviously bigger for billboards, smaller for a mall screen, and then see if any of those device IDs that we're following happen to be in that place at that time that your ad played. We will then capture those device IDs and pass them back to your chosen omnichannel DSP. Maybe it's Trade Desk or Yahoo or StackAdapt or Nexon, or maybe you want to retarget on Meta, and we'll push those devices through. They'll populate on your end, and then you can use those devices to retarget against and essentially drive that consumer down the purchasing path as well. Really nice and powerful to be able to tie together that above the line and below the line. Where the consumer saw your out-of-home advertisement, we captured their device ID, you retargeted them online, they clicked on the banner, they went to the website, they converted. So you're really able to kind of draw that nice holistic picture together as well. Jumping into creative as well, I'm sure of you are well versed in the out-of-home space, especially in Australia, and I'm sure that you're aware that all the billboards are different shapes and sizes. So there's a couple of tools that we have to help with that barrier to entry as well. The first one being DCO, so dynamic. So whether you want to show, a countdown to an event or product launch, maybe you want to drive retailers to a specific store, so you want to show the distance to the store. Maybe you just want to show the current temperature. We've done a couple of great campaigns on that for Fruju in New Zealand. Actually, as soon as it went above a certain temperature, we'd start showing the ad and say, it's 29 degrees, grab an ice block or something like that. Live sports scores, we've done a couple of great ones for the NBA in New York on this as well. We'd love to activate locally. So whether that's across, live sports scores from the A-League or NRL or AFL, certainly a great opportunity to jump into that as well. City or neighborhood targeting, kind of have that messaging down to the suburb level as well. Hey, Mossman, it's 26 degrees, time to grab an ice block or something like that. You can absolutely jump into that. Purchase history, so kind of showcasing which products are selling well, or which products aren't selling well. Maybe your client needs to push those products more. You can really push to advertise that specific product and try to pick up the sales on that end as well. User-generated content kind of comes from, you can repost tweets, what people are saying on Facebook, and then tie that together with your campaign as well, and then the product feed and the custom data feed too. But when I was talking about all the different shapes and sizes of the billboards around Australia, we have seen that as a big barrier to entry for some of our clients. As I'm sure all of you well know, that getting a lot of different creatives resized and shaped for your campaign can be costly. So to remove that barrier to entry, we do offer creative resizing free of charge for static assets. If you do want to buy across every billboard in Australia, I think you need about 200 different sizes. So we are happy to offer this solution for free for static assets. Essentially, all we need is the layered working file and those top 3 sizes on the bottom left. We do have a dedicated team based in LA that can turn those assets around and resize them for you relatively fast as well. Of course, if there is feedback on those assets, you would pass that back, we would adjust them again, and then once they're approved from you, upload them to the platform and get ready to run the campaign as well. Another awesome tool that we have within the platform is the Creative Preview tool. For those who have dabbled in the programmatic out-of-home space before, you might know how hard it is to capture pops. So this is kind of one of those tools to help mitigate those traditional expectations. Not just only for pops / mock-ups, but also to help show your clients and help them decide which creative variation they would like to show up on screen. So let's say there are 4 or 5 different variations. They're unsure which one they want to run with. You can jump in here, upload them all, and get images of how each one would look up on the billboard as well. Just kind of help with that decision-making process too. And then jumping into supercharging your out-of-home as well. So if you want to learn more about VISTAR, please jump onto our website or feel free to contact one of us. We'd be happy to have a bit of a chat. There's also a lot of practical advice around specific verticals and also different campaigns and ideas that you can access on the VISTAR blog. Of course, we have a ton of case studies too. If you ever are wondering if we have a case study for a specific vertical, please just reach out. We're happy to help there. And we also have the VISTAR Academy as well, which is a completely free training tool for you and your team as well. So essentially it'll run through, the education process, talk about, comprehensive courses covering programmatic at home, the fundamentals of it as well. Also evolving, so, building out your knowledge and learning more about this part of the industry. And then there's also certifications as well. It's always nice to be able to add those ones on LinkedIn and show off to everyone that you've completed the course. Even if you have new starters in the business who are, relatively new to the media world, great for them to get involved in this as well and just increase their knowledge about another new channel. So, but I'll head into the platform demo now, guys. We'll just do a quick little jump through our planning tool. While I'm bringing this up, if there are any questions, please feel free to fire away. If not, I'll just cruise through to the platform.
Thanks for sharing the questions in the chat functionality as well, guys, throughout. Some really good questions in there on AdStruct, so thank you.
Cool. Awesome. So this is our planning tool. I'll jump back to the start, but essentially it allows you to put in, the name of your campaign. I'll just call it a test for now. Check out the advertiser too, call it a test. And as you can see here, the guys mentioned before, we are a global DSP. So if you are ever interested, and I'll zoom in a bit. Is that better? Cool. I'll zoom in a little bit more. But yeah, this is amazing because it essentially allows you to run campaigns cross-border into any of these countries around the world from Australia, which is really, really exciting. It also allows you to, if you have a client that wants to show up on a screen in Times Square while simultaneously showing up on a screen in IGA in Alice Springs, you are able to do that very, very easily. But essentially, as you kind of work your way through, you just put your campaign dates in. Let's look across the month of April, for example. I can choose an impression goal or a budget goal. So it's called revenue on our platform. But essentially, I can put in the budget of, let's do 30 grand. And if you wanted to work in your agency fee as well, you can work that markup in here, or you can just leave it blank. We're open to working whatever way commercially that you like to choose. There are options in there for every kind of setup as well. If I click into next, essentially we're going to get a blank canvas of a media plan. I've added these cities in here, but essentially you can see all the different targeting parameters on the left-hand side. But I will just kind of add in the greater capital cities, and we can have a look at the inventory within those as well. So as soon as I add these cities, you'll see the map is updating and populating the screens that fall within the targeting parameters. Obviously, there's a hell of a lot of screens, almost 13,500, but let's kind of whittle that down and choose some venue types that maybe we're more interested in. So maybe we want to look at some shopping center screens, maybe some grocery screens, chuck some gyms in there, and then maybe some urban panels as well. And essentially, you have the ability to pick and choose exactly which venue types you want, as well as the media owners as well. If you wanted to exclude some of them, I'm not going to pick on anyone today, but you do have the ability to do that too. As we jump through to the next page, we're just going to break it out here by venue type and media owner, and this gives us a full holistic view of all the different qualifying panels within our targeting parameters and exactly what their screen counts are as well. So if you have a dedicated amount that you need to spend against, I don't know, for example, VMO malls, of course, you can increase that as well. So let's put $5,000 in here. We can update the table. It will hold that investment there and then redistribute the rest as well. This is really great too, this tool, because it allows you kind of see all the information as well. If you wanted to work towards a cheaper overall CPM, for example, you can of course filter by CPM and then increase your investment into that particular line, and it will update the table, and you can see at the top here, we'll bring down that overall CPM as well. The beauty of this is, you know, once you have, once the media plan is looking pretty good, of course, you can download those creative specs and you can see exactly which sizes you would need to run across 100% of the qualifying inventory. And you can also share this map as well. So when you do share that link, essentially it would just be an image of the map or an interactive map, but there won't be any costs or figures or anything like that. But it will allow the client to kind of drill in and click on the screens and kind of see exactly which screens you intend on buying as well. Kind of helps that collaboration process and helps them feel a bit more involved too. But yeah, as you can see here, if I drill all the way down here, we can see exactly who this is. This is a VMO gym screen. Once it's all signed off and ready to go, you can just hit this big blue launch button, launch it to a new IO, and it will build out the entire campaign for you as well. So as you can see, naming conventions, bids, everything is set up in there. But of course, with programmatic flexibility, you're still able to adjust this and work it any way you want to, moving budgets around, turning things on or off. If you need to pause the campaign, we're not going to penalize you for that. If you need to cancel a campaign, you do what you need to do. You have complete flexibility. So yeah, very, very easy to use, very intuitive platform. And yeah, even for people who are new to this side of the industry, very, very easy to function and build as well. But I'll leave it there for now. If there's any more info, if you are keen on a full platform demo, please don't hesitate to reach out. It would be great to connect.
Awesome. Well done, team. Well, thank you, guys. That's what we wanted to take you through today. We hope you found it a valuable session. If there are any further questions off the back of that, Sam, will we circulate an email, or will you be circulating that on our behalf afterwards? And we can put some key contact details in there as well if anyone needs to reach out for a separate session.
Yep, guys, we will circulate this presentation, the video, and also contact details later today. And we can connect anyone if you need it beforehand directly afterwards with Winston and the great team and good people at Vista. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Great presentation. Members, thank you very much. And just a couple of reminders. Slido, can we just do that Slido in the chat feature? If everyone could just fill that out, that's just a way of us measuring how we're going with these things, because we want to get better and better and better at them. So just do that. Also, whilst you're doing that, I'll just quickly talk to you, Cans and Cans. Just if you haven't told us yet, tell us you're coming up, and we'll get you to the cocktail party and also walk and talk session and the network there as part of the wider indie family. Northern Territory, that is closing, I think, this week, and we're almost at capacity with that. So looking forward to have one there. All our Perth agencies will be over in Perth in the next on the 10th of April. Pitchcella will be happening. That will be happening on the in July. So watch out for the email. They'll be going out in the next couple of weeks. Next week, either Nikki G or Tian will be taking the session, and we'll catch up then. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll talk for soon. Winston, Vista, thanks guys. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too.
Likewise.